Kung Fu, master, we associate these words with boundless will, discipline and an almost superhuman capacity for self-control. That is, if we believe everything we are shown on our screens, when we see in movies or YouTube videos what Kung Fu, karate and other martial arts masters are capable of, it may seem that people who master these martial arts are literally invincible. Japanese and Chinese martial arts have long since conquered the world. In perhaps any city you can easily find a gym where you can, for relatively little money, gain interesting experience in karate, albeit a somewhat adapted form. The real Shaolin masters perform such miracles that scientists are simply unable to understand how this is possible, but it is indeed so. And how effective are these amazing skills in, say, a real street fight? It's hard to say which of the masters of the various combat sports is stronger, but there's no doubt that the sumo wrestlers are definitely the toughest. They use their body weight and fast attacks to overpower their opponents. However, these fights have long since become a mere performance and a way of worshipping ancient Japanese culture. The fighting techniques of sumo wrestlers are unlikely to be useful in a fight without rules. Here, for example, is a match between a sumo wrestler and an MMA fighter. Who do you think has a chance of winning? On the one hand, the sumo wrestler has a clear weight advantage, but on the other hand he is quite clumsy and slow and barely has time to respond to his opponent's attacks. Just look at that. It looks like sumo wrestler has decided to smother his opponent in a hug, a very effective move. Some martial arts masters claim that hypnosis helps them defeat their opponents, but the footage in this video appears to be staged. You've probably heard about the incredible abilities of Kung Fu masters, and you know what Shaolin monks are capable of. This guy, however, knocked one of these masters down without too much trouble. You can spend years studying philosophy, training every muscle in your body, but one well-aimed blow can destroy a martial arts master's carefully built reputation in a heartbeat. The Chinese concept of Kung Fu is very different from the Western one. In the West, Kung Fu is seen as a means to defeat an opponent, while in China the emphasis is on realizing one's path and promoting virtue. Kung Fu philosophy is based on elements of Taoism, New Buddhism and Confucianism. Chinese martial arts distinguish between external and internal Kung Fu. External trains the muscles, bones and joints, while internal Kung Fu strengthens the spirit, energy and mind. Therefore, internal Kung Fu can be practiced even in later life. So why doesn't Kung Fu work in real life? It is because the abilities of modern Shaolin monks are greatly overrated. There are very few real masters, and most of their fighting techniques are more of a pretty show than an effective weapon in real combat. Most Shaolin fighters look more like a clown, but a real Kung Fu master will not have enough time to show refinement in movement if he meets a boxer in the ring. Unlike on the movie set, the fight won't be scripted. Thanks to the movies, martial arts have become very popular and many people wanted to learn some of them in order to at least resemble their favorite characters from the movie. As always, the demand generated a lot of offers and somewhat strange trainers flocked to teach martial arts. Take a look at this footage. I can't tell you how weak and cowardly an opponent would have to be for a coach to overcome him by rolling on the floor and swinging a bat. Although this master seems to have impressed his students. And this trainer has decided to promote self-defense classes and show off his incredible skill. Just look at how easily he defeats his opponents. But we wonder if he will be able to replicate any of these techniques with people who have not been paid for this feat. We think the answer is obvious. Here is another master who invented a new kind of martial art, Russian Kung Fu. Basically, it's the same as Chinese Kung Fu, only before practicing, you have to drink a shot of vodka and you don't need any strenuous and exhausting training. In all other respects, it's exactly the same kung fu as in China. One man decided to show off his virtuoso skills in a live TV broadcast. The question of where and from whom he learned all this is not even an option. What is more interesting is how the presenter managed to keep a serious expression on her face while watching this spectacle. We think this is art. What do you think? Write your opinion in the comments. And this champion was so close to victory, but in the end he didn't have the strength to hold his opponent. Wing Chun is a Chinese martial art that combines many different techniques. It is a fight based on principles that the student gradually learns with each training session. Attack avoidance is complemented by immediate direct attacks at extreme close range. The fight often ends with kicks and elbow strikes. Wing Chun as a martial art assumes a quick victory over an opponent without any harm. In mastering this style, the emphasis is not so much on developing physical attributes as it is on perfecting fighting techniques, which include fast kicks and defensive stances. Wing Chun literally translated means eternal spring. This style was popularized by Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee has often been accused of not being that good outside of filming. A guy in a yellow suit that looks a bit like a banana decided to defend the honor of the martial art of Wing Chun, but it looks like he was just chased around the ring. However, we have to admit that this Mr. Banana is nowhere near as good as the famous Bruce Lee, so let's not draw any conclusions about Wing Chun based on this fight. Here is another Wing Chun champion who was easily knocked out by an MMA fighter with a single punch. Here's another fight. It looks like these fights don't last long, and once again the Wing Chun master has infamously lost. This champion landed the first punch, but the second knocked him down. It took his opponent just 3 seconds. One of the dancers claimed to know kung fu, but there was a young man in the audience who didn't know any martial arts. He just stole change from other kids at school, so you see, even against street hooligans, kung fu won't help you. So can a Wing Chun master at least beat someone? Well, sure, another Wing Chun master, but to make that fight look as spectacular as the Bruce Lee movies, you'd have to train like Bruce Lee. So far, it's just a sad spectacle. The masters we could learn from do exist. Many trainers around the world are committed to teaching truly spectacular techniques. If you master them, you may not become invincible, but at the very least you will dominate the internet and maybe even become a real action movie star. You just have to find the right master, not a charlatan. Write in the comments what is your favorite martial sport or art. I'll be glad if you like this video and subscribe for next videos. I have some interesting reels on my Instagram. Thanks and have a great day.